All right, so we are live. All right, yeah, let me just get a quick sound check and we'll get going. All right, cool. Thanks, Jared. All right, yeah, so market's just kind of not really doing much as you'd expect here. Really light volume right now. Spiders down just 0.16 here, Q's flat, Dow flat. So I changed the screen up a little bit. So we have the IYT here, which is follows the Dow transports. And the reason why I don't have the actual Dow transports is because it's so skewed right now, thanks to Avis or Avis, however you want to call it, from yesterday. So I'm using the IYT, and I want to keep that on here. We got the semis, as always, cloud software here, IGV, and then we got the home builders. I want to pay attention to the home builders because, sorry, that's the Russell, because rates will impact them very much so. And if the Fed does any tapering or rate changes or anything like that, that's going to be important to watch. And of course, obviously, we have the IWM and gold here in the corner. Silver taking a bit of a dip. Gold as well. So that's suggesting, maybe there's some, maybe they're pricing in a little bit of increased rates. I don't know. It's all just noise until the actual decision. Yields did get a bit of a push. If you look on the intraday, they gapped lower. Then we got a nice push, and now kind of putting in, a nice consolidation pattern here. So that's a, bullish pattern there. Nothing wrong with that. Meme stocks, BlackBerry did pop. I got out of the second half of my position. It got to my target at 12:30. I sold it on the way down when it started coming in. So they pump and dumped this. AMC as well, GME, even Clove got a nice bid. Bed Bath & Beyond, obviously, off of the news yesterday, getting a pop. But these might run in the second half of the day too. They could run tomorrow also. Pot stocks getting a nice bid. Tilray up 3%. Aurora 0.5%. These were up a little bit more earlier in the day. They've come back in. CGC up 1 3/4. MJ, up over 1.5. So pot stocks getting a bit of a sympathy trade. I talked about the potential for this sympathy trade with the pot stocks and the meme stocks yesterday. Zillow getting hammered. I would absolutely, if this wasn't on earnings, I would totally buy this. I would have already alerted this as a buy. So you got right around here, 200 moving average, weekly look at this breakout. This is your double top area you're back testing at. The only reason I haven't picked this up already is because it's earnings, and we talked about this yesterday in the stream. You want to let it wash out for a few days. When it does that, they announced they're cutting 25% of their workforce. So that's not very good. But maybe if this washes out a little bit, gets to that 60 handle, that could be a good area to pick this up. So we'll just keep that one on the radar for sure. We do have some earnings later today. So we got Roku, Qualcomm, Fastly, Etsy. Sandstorm is reporting also. This is a nice little pattern here on Sandstorm. I like how it came back down and now it's off the lows there, but it's going into earnings, so who knows what's going to happen. Fastly's got a nice pattern too, so this falling wedge here, threatening a breakout of that, but again, earnings, it could knock it right back down to 35 bucks. It's a crapshoot, but it's up 7% right now. Qualcomm pushing higher as well. So that is getting a bid here, but that has earnings, and Roku, kind of just inside of that green candle. I believe Peloton reports tomorrow too, so that's one we're going to watch as well. If that can hold up, I do like Peloton here. We've traded it a few times recently, and got a nice little inside bar there, so it's holding that low. So Peloton could be one to watch. Snowflake. I don't think they report till December, but this finally got into resistance. And the only reason why I didn't short this yesterday, I had a sell signal on this actually as of yesterday's close, but it's just in an uptrend right now, and it is a little short-term overbought, but it's not extended, so I can't really pull the trigger on that. But this is a good one that we could look to buy on a pullback. All right, so now it is 2 p.m. Let's take a look over to the intraday and see if anything's happening. Spider's getting a bid, so it looks like there is some news out. Let me flip over here. Just gonna pull up Twitter. I get the feed from Zero Hedge faster than anything else. Fed says tapering starting November, monthly reductions of 15 billion, so that is expected. Prepare to adjust pace of taper as warranted. Inflation elevated due to factors expected to be transitory. All right, so we have it taper, and the market is loving it. There we go. Taper talk. Buy. Let's see what happens. And gold is getting a bid too. Let's see, yields are coming back in. Everything's getting a bid right now on my screen. On all of my screens, except for yields. The dollar is getting whacked. Crude's kind of dancing around. Broker dealers are pushing up. Financials are getting a bid here. Copper's selling a little bit. Let's see, I'm watching AMC too. I want to see if these meme stocks start to moon. That would be very interesting. Pot stocks are bidding. You know what they say, the first move can be the wrong move though, so let's just see what happens here. It's ironic, right? We're going to taper, and now the market loves it. It's like this, nothing can take this market down. For now. VIX getting a hit, obviously. So see, yields are getting a hit as well. Now coming back. The yields took a hit. Now they're coming back up here. So watch that. Hey, LC, what's going on? Dollar bouncing. Dollar's getting a bounce off of the intraday 200 moving average. So we got an algo pop here. So this is the algo pop. Now we'll see if the real market comes in. We'll see what happens here. And then, of course, Powell has to speak at 2:30. So that's going to, what he says can change the market's outlook here. But as of right now, we're holding this pop for now here. Only 3 minutes in. Let's see. Yeah, market's still holding this. So dollar is bouncing though, and yields are starting to pop now. Interesting. So we got to watch these. So you got to watch these things for little clues here. Notice how the semis are making a new high and the Russell is not. And IGV is not making a new high. Neither is home builders. So we have yields. All right, now yields are coming back in sharply. This is going to be important. So Q's pushing. This is ridiculous. Let's take a look at the VIX here. The actual VIX is getting hit. So I'm expecting the VIX to make another low. You guys know that. And maybe this is the catalyst for something like that here. So it's interesting to me that the Russell hasn't made a new high with there being taper talk. But yet the Qs are. And yields are kind of bouncing around. They're kind of flattish right now. Dollar getting a nice bounce. Let's see. Dollar came back in, hit that 200. Now it's bouncing there. And yields, it looks like the algos are still kind of just fighting with yields right now. But the market is bidding really nicely. Got to watch that Russell, though. If that Russell can't take out the highs, there's something wrong with the market. But the semis are holding up well. It's got to take out. Yeah, the thing is with the Russell, though, I don't think it's going. I think the Russell's got. Let's see. I think it's going to have some resistance or in the low to mid 240s for right now. I don't think the Russell really gets that much higher, to be completely honest. If you look at like some of these other periods here, they had nice consolidation here, very long consolidation, took it, almost a whole year to play out, made a new, we had a nice little 10% pop and then, right back down. Same thing here, had a nice pop here and then it made a new high and then dumped. So the Russell has done these consolidation patterns before and it has made a new high afterward, but it's generally been kind of short-lived. But interesting that the Russell's not making a new high with the spiders and the Qs both making new highs and the VIX getting smacked. Home builders also, muted here. Why aren't the home builders at all-time highs? These are questions we gotta figure out, and this is how you cut through the noise. Yields now, all right, now yields are popping again. So we gotta get direction on this. We gotta, the algo's gotta fight for a few minutes and then figure out the direction of everything. Gold kind of, bouncing around as well. Silver is not really even doing anything. Silver's just sitting there. Ooh, Bitcoin just took a big dump. Hold on, let's take a look at Bitcoin. So Bitcoin just had a little drop there. That was a quick one. It's coming off the lows, but somebody just dumped a ton of Bitcoin. Look at Tesla. Tesla's acting like it's a normal day. Tesla's not even doing anything. AMC kind of sitting there, just muted. Okay, now yields are really ripping. 1.593 on the yield. So yields are ripping higher now. So that theoretically should help the Russell, and it should be really bad for gold. Unless the market believes that inflation isn't going to be transitory, then gold should start, really rising with yields. But for right now, yields are getting a bid. Now market's coming back in. Big bounce on the dollar here. Watching the broker dealers too. If they make a new high, that would be bullish. JP Morgan now getting a really big bid here. So Fins, XLE getting a bid. So, I mean, I can't imagine that tapering would be bearish for yields, but I mean, some things get priced in and, that's just the way they go. But yields are moving up now. It's interesting that Tesla's not doing anything. Very interesting. It'll be interesting to see what Powell has to say here. See, in addition to vaccination progress, Fed now expects an easing of supply constraints to support continued gains in economic activity and employment, as well as reduction in inflation. Oh, so that means they can stop with QE, right? And see, yields really pushing now. So yields trying to make a new high. We're threatening that 1.6 handle. JP Morgan's now making a high of the day. Russell's still kind of just sitting there. Yeah, it looks like we're really just waiting on Powell right now. IGV now reversing. So IGV just wiped out the last 10 minutes of gains. Tesla coming back in a little bit too. Dollar now reversing all of the losses. So above the 94 handle again. 94.04 on the dollar. So transport's still bidding a bit too here. Transport's holding up. Yields are still holding up. And the dollar is completely reversed here. And this looks like the market is just waiting on Powell. But it's going to be all about the yield right now. Yeah, he's going to jawbone yields back down. It probably will. The interesting thing is, though, they have been talking about this for months, and they have been saying that, you know, like Yellen has been on TV multiple times and said, you know, 2% rates wouldn't even be that bad, blah, blah, blah. And a lot of the times when these officials do that type of thing, especially people in the Fed and those circles, that's like their way of preparing the market for, hey, this is going to happen. And that might not be the worst thing for the market, believe it or not. Be surprised. But JPM getting a nice bid here, that's usually a good sign for the market. And he doesn't really need to even talk yields all the way down. As long as there's bids going somewhere in the market, you know, we have, so XLF bidding, XLE getting a bid off the lows. As long as there's bids going somewhere, the yield going up isn't going to hurt anything. It's when everything starts going down with the yields going up, that's when there's going to be a problem. But as long as there's a bid somewhere, the market can hold up. And that's what they've been doing to this market for months now. They've been, you know, the Qs will be ripping for, you know, a few weeks. and the Russell will be doing nothing, and then the Russell will start bidding, and then the Russell will sell off, and then the Qs, you know, it's just this big rotation. If they don't really care, you know, what sector they have to put money into, they just prop it up, you know, however they need to. You know, if tech's not working, they throw money into energy and fins, and if that's not working, then they put money back into tech, and it just, you know. But so yield's pushing again. So now we're clipping 1.6 on the 10-year. Dollar is almost flat now on the day. And Russell is pushing. So, okay, so Russell green right here, and the markets are S&P pulling back in a little bit. If the Russell starts ripping, that's going to confirm a yield break, you know, a yield breakout. I notice how the triple Qs are starting to, they're underperforming everything else. Take a look at the diamond. Yep, so diamond has a lot of stocks that benefit from higher yield. Diamond not making a new high though. But yeah, you know, Tesla having a muted response. Now Bitcoin's reversed all of those losses. So Bitcoin is now pushing back up. VIX is coming off the lows a little bit. Very interested to see where we close out the day here. Then we have a bag of earnings after the close too, so there's going to be a lot of action today. Get some pre-market too. CVS at all-time highs, I think, maybe. No, but year-to-date highs. This is coming into resistance around $100 though. Let's take a look at Disca. I think they reported before the open. Disca getting a bid. If Disca can close above this, what is it, 2550 area? That could actually have some legs finally. See Viacom, I think they report soon too. Yeah, Viacom getting kind of a sympathy bid off of that. All right, so yield stalling around 1.6. Market's trying to push back up a little bit. Russell still hasn't made a new high. The Dow is still completely inside of yesterday's candle. See there. Spiders are pushing now. And VIX is coming back in. VXX coming down. All right, broker dealers near the high of the day. So far everything looks fairly bullish. Looks like some meme stocks are coming off the lows, nothing crazy. We'll have to see how the market's going to react during power hour here. Don't expect much in the next 10 minutes before Jay starts speaking. Yeah, I don't know. See, it's interesting. I don't know if he really even needs to really jawbone yields at this point because it's not like the market's freaking out. The market's liking it. It's actually holding up. It's holding the gains so far. The only real freak out we had was on Bitcoin, which was very short lived. Looks like somebody just dumped on market, and that was really the end of it. They just one big entity just dumped some shares, and it was pretty much over with immediately. But gold's not really doing anything either. It's not selling. It's not bidding though. Interesting. Interesting. Oh, by the way, I think I forgot to point this out. I read this earlier, but I believe I retweeted this too. Like the put call ratio hit its lowest point in 10 years today. So, yeah, it's amazing because a month ago, we look on the spiders. A month ago it was actually pretty high. I think we were up to like almost a 0.1 over 0.8 or something like that around the lows here. Everybody was calling the crash or calling for a correction, and it just in a month we've gone from that to basically all-time lows, or not all-time lows, but pretty low on the put call ratio. Still below a 0.37 here on as far as Thinkorswim is concerned for S&P. I think on Trading View, so it's a little higher now, it's 0.44, but it was lower. It was around like 0.38, 0.37 earlier on Trading View. So possibly some giddiness in this market. I said yesterday that we could be entering a blow-off phase, and I think we're getting pretty close to that. So we could have a lot of upside in a very short period of time here. Yeah, VIX getting whacked now. If they're hitting the VIX like that, they're not going to wait for Powell. So we should get some euphoria here. But dollar's still holding up, though. That's the interesting. Now yield's coming back in just a touch. Look at the spiders. This is ridiculous. You could almost make a case that this was kind of your. I mean, if we end up pushing higher here, you could make a case that this whole correction was pricing in the news we're getting today, and now we're kind of getting just that reaction to that because it was expected. It was the talk was that we're going to get 15 billion a month to start the tapering, and then obviously from there it's to be determined. But we did get basically what the market expected, so we can't be too surprised that the market's kind of just reacting positively. All right, IWM now getting under that double top area, so it should be. I mean, this is a a decent bullish pullback there. So if IWM starts ripping, that could be confirming this move. You want to see small caps break out. That confirms generally a bullish move. So home builder is still kind of muted though. Very. They're just trashing VXX right now. I remember many months ago I said VIX can go lower. It never really got down to like the buy level I was looking for. And it seemed crazy at the time, like, oh, it can't go below 15.5. It's going there. It got down to 14, just below 15 a few weeks ago. And I think this is just a little bear rally here. We got up to the 18 handle. I said it was going to go up to 18. That's where it got. Now it's selling off, but we can go a little bit lower here. And I think we'll probably get a good buying opportunity on that. We do have, I believe, so not next week, but the week after is OpEx week. So that, if we trade up into that, we'll probably get some type of correction that week. So there could be something to that. Yeah, everything looks really stabilized right now. Broker dealers are pushing back up. We've got dollar stabilized. Yields are kind of stabilizing around 158. JP Morgan coming back in a little bit. XLE a little bit. Crude actually rolling over just a touch. Let's take a look at crude actually. All right, crude might want to pull back in. That ended up being a pretty good resistance area. I called that 85 out for a couple of weeks. I said that's where it's going. It's going to have short-term resistance there. So that may want to pull back in. Yeah, that might want to come back to 77. Right in that area. Natty's holding up though. But Natty kind of does its own thing. Natty's kind of its own beast. But it is holding up right now. XLE holding up. OIH actually positive. EIC having a nice day. Wells Fargo all-time high. Let's take a look at everybody's favorite stock. HSBC, yeah, we're acting well. Yeah, right. Sell the rumor, buy the news. Yeah. Well, and they bought, it's like they sell the rumor, then buy the rumor, and then sell the news, or buy the news. Interesting. Yeah, see, I don't see. So this is why I think that this is probably the right move. Essentially, like it's not gonna we're not gonna have a major reversal here. We're probably gonna go higher. They wouldn't be taking the VIX down if we were gonna go if we were gonna reverse. The VIX would be holding up. In fact, the VIX might even actually be going up with the market. That's usually your sign that it's a fool's rally. And we did make new highs. If we rallied up, but we didn't take out yesterday's high, that's always a good indicator on Fed decisions. That's something you always look for. Write this down. If it can't take out the previous like 2 or 3 day highs, obviously we made an all-time high yesterday, but let's say we made an all-time high on Monday and it was up here and we rallied up. Even if we had a big rally, like this big pop, if we couldn't make a new high, that would be like on the news, that would be a warning flag for me. But we did make a new nominal high, even though it's, not, it did pull back a little bit. We still made that high. And then the VIX coming back in, that's just, they're not going to sell the VIX if they think that the market's going to reverse. So now let's take a look at the dollar. So Jawbone J should be getting on any second now, by the way. I'm not going to turn him on because I don't want to mess up the audio here, but I'll pull up Zero Hedge on my other screen. And they usually retweet everything he says, so. You know, hold on 1 second, sorry. All right, yeah, so dollar, yeah, dollar is now bidding back to the flat line. And again, I've been talking about this, and I'm just going to keep talking about it until something happens. But this is a bullish pattern on the dollar, and I think it's probably got a couple more weeks to play out here. But I think it's going to put pressure on the markets. Now, I think we can continue to trade higher until then, but that dollar is going to be an elephant pretty soon. Yeah, Jay's going to start talking soon. Man, it's going to be interesting to see what he says. I think he's going to juice this market. Well, now yield's starting to push back up just a bit here. Yeah, the Russell should start pushing as well. Dow coming back in a touch. JPM coming back in a little bit too. Interesting. All right, so Powell should be speaking any minute here. I'm probably going to cut the stream here. I got to do a few things here for the Patreons. There's a few setups I'm looking at here that we might take later today. And I don't want to be streaming while we're doing that because it's going to be difficult to get all those things out for you. But I will do a video at the end of the day as well, one for patrons, and I'll do a market wrap as well, going over everything, just so we can wrap that up and all that stuff. But in any case, thank you guys for coming out, watching this. We should see some more upside, I would think. Don't really have any indication otherwise right now. VIX is coming back in a little bit. Maybe it is, maybe we do reverse a little bit, but we'll see what happens here. I will get another video out by the